Al Jazeera.
Well, let's talk to Khaled Al-Abbadi. He's the director of the Aden Research Corporation, and he supports the southern separatist movement in Yemen. He's live for us from New York. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. With the current conflict right now, how is it impacting on the people in the south?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your show, Rob. Yeah, the people of the South have probably paid the biggest price of all for this conflict and for what has been going on for the last 2 decades, but particularly the most recent days. The city of Aden is now going through widespread looting and a lot of disorder. There's a lot of fighting going on in the streets in Aden, and civilians are worried. They're staying indoors, and people are worried that food, water, and electricity will be cut soon.
Do you think that this is going to have an impact on the amount of support that the Houthis get in Yemen?
Well, I can tell you that the Houthis has very little support in the southern provinces. I know for a fact that a lot of the militias and the military units that are loyal to President Hadi are able to secure many of the southern governorates and provinces. The only issues are pockets of Yemeni military units that have mutinized and are supporting Ali Abdullah Saleh and the Houthis. But aside from the Houthi militias that are invading, they have very little support in South Yemen.
Do you think this crisis is sectarian in nature? I don't want to oversimplify the situation that we have in Yemen, but there seems to be a dividing line that a lot of people are being attracted to, if you like, at the moment.
Well, I mean, sectarianism is a simplification of what's going on the ground, but it isn't an entire, it's not overly simplifying the issue either. People are taking sides. And the issue, I mean, there has been a very direct policy by the former president, the former dictator, in using sectarian divisions for his own purposes and supporting them financially and politically. And so now we begin to see the consequences of this as the Houthis now are beginning to come to the south, and they're beginning to see the remnants of these organizations, militant groups, radical militant groups. But also the issue of southern separation and the issue of the aspirations of the southern people have been something that have been neglected. I mean, Southern movement has been protesting nonviolently since 2007, only to get arrests and people shot at in protest. And so you can imagine that these tensions are building up, and you're seeing a multidimensional conflict that does also fall within sectarian lines, unfortunately.
I want to ask you about the role that President Hadi may have to play in future here. Obviously, he's moved to Saudi. He's expected, I believe, to be at talks in Egypt on Saturday. What role can he play in the future of Yemen now that he's actually out of the country?
Well, I do believe that he's just attending an Arab summit. He is the legal president of Yemen. He is the agreed-upon president. Most provinces in the entire Yemen and in the south, and most people in Yemen accept him as their legitimate president. So we expect him to be back in Aden after he attends the summit. But we also see that he does have a positive role in the future because he has attempted to kind of deliver on some of the aspirations of the southern people. We don't believe that those aspirations are complete yet, so we'd like to see, for example, at least a referendum somewhere down the line after a short transition period. We'd like to see more political reforms and to deliver on the democratic promises that were made during the unity. We believe that he has made steps in the right direction. He has tried to enfranchise and bring in more Southerners into government and into policy and into the military, and brought people back that were forced into retirement. And so for all those reasons, we think he can play a positive role. But I just want to emphasize also that the aspirations of the Arab Spring, the aspirations of the Southern movement have not been fulfilled yet. And we hope that those will continue to be on the table when he returns.
Khaled Al-Abbadi is director of the Aden Research Corporation. We thank you very much for your time. Now let's cross to David Foster